And in this video, I am going to be telling you all about my entire process getting my tattoo removed. Now, this actually took a really long time, and I made a video about my tattoo removal before, but that was just about my last few sessions with Laseraway and that process. But this actually started an entire 3.5 years before that video took place. So I started getting my tattoo removed when I was living in San Francisco, and the first place that I went was Serenity Medspa, which was fantastic. I think they were recommended to me by a friend whose son went there. And the first day that I went, I didn't think I was gonna have a session. I just went to have a consultation, and I was so impressed with the facilities. They were so clean, they were beautiful. It was just like this high-end luxury spa experience, and they really set my mind at ease because all of their technicians are registered nurses, and they really knew what they were doing. They knew exactly how the lasers functioned, which settings to use starting out and then later on in the process, and completely set my mind at ease. So that is the first video I'm going to be showing you right after my very first laser session. I didn't bring my camera to that session itself because I wasn't counting on actually starting, so that's why that video does not exist. Later on in the videos, I ended up going to Laseraway because I moved to Los Angeles, and of course Serenity Med Spa isn't down here, and Laseraway just had a really great reputation. There was a different facility that a lot of you know about that closed down. They were super shady about it. Some people paid in advance for packages and lost their deposit, and Laseraway is way more legit than they are. They're really dependable, and they do offer other services. So I like that they were kind of like this all-encompassing med spa, which is what I was used to. So I'm gonna show you all of the video journal entries that I made throughout this entire process. I'm sorry, this is probably gonna be an obscenely long video, but I did want to set your mind at ease if you're thinking about having a tattoo laser removed, and just show you what the process is like and give you like a really in-depth rundown. Now, the reason I had my tattoo removed, I loved my tattoo. I really liked it. It looked fantastic for years. It was really well done. I loved it. And then after I had my tumor surgery, I think my body chemistry just changed so much that I became more sensitive to it, or I became allergic to it, to the point where the ink started to sort of bleed out the edges of the tattoo, and it started to like change shape, whereas it had been absolutely perfect for years leading up to my surgery, and then right after my surgery I started noticing these changes. So I knew it was like a body chemistry thing. I went to a dermatologist. She told me that my body was rejecting my tattoo, and she recommended that I get it lasered off. Another thing I noticed when things started to go south with the tattoo was that when I was having high allergy encountered days, like days when I was out in nature or I encountered animals that I was allergic to, basically like I was exposed to more allergens than usual, I would notice that the tattoo itself would start to get inflamed. So I could feel it, like it was raised above my skin, it would get puffy. And then when I really knew it had to come off was one day I was in the shower and I was scrubbing, and a chunk of ink just like came off. Yeah. I think you can actually see that in the first video. There's like a little gap in the tattoo where it just kind of like scabbed up and fell off one day, which was really disgusting and kind of alarming. So I'm just gonna jump right into it and show you all of these video entries, and you can see for yourself exactly what this process was like for me. Today was my very first laser tattoo removal treatment. So it was $71 per session, so that's really not bad. It was about $350, a little more than $350. I went in for the consult and decided to do the treatment today, so I took care of all my paperwork. The consult was about 15 minutes, and James went over everything in a lot of detail with me, which was fantastic. He answered all my questions, and if I have more questions, I can always call them later, so that's really nice. They put some numbing cream on me, on the tattoo, and I sat for about 30 minutes, and then James took me back and started doing the treatment. And the treatment itself, he told me it was gonna be about 3 minutes. It was probably like 1 or 2 minutes. It was really nothing at all. And he gave me these stress balls that he says a lot of people will squeeze if it hurts, and it didn't hurt. I didn't feel it at all. He put the numbing cream on, but he also numbed the area with ice, and being numbed with the ice was less comfortable than the treatment itself. Honestly, I was expecting something at least like as much pain as a pinprick or maybe being scratched, but I felt absolutely nothing. So I went out and ran a couple errands, and I just got home and I've got my ice pack already, and I'm gonna take the bandage off and see what it looks like. Probably not too bad. So here it is from my perspective. Well, it's a little bit juicy, a little bit of blood and stuff, a little bit of a raised portion. I'm not gonna touch it right now, but when I kind of put pressure on it, it just sort of feels like, yeah, like a burn, like I burned it. So I'm just gonna keep this ice pack on it for a little while since there is a little bit of swelling and I don't want that to get worse. And I'm happy with my decision so far. I mean, I loved my tattoo, but it changed so drastically after my hormones changed and my body changed so much, so it's time. Hey everyone, it has been 2 weeks since my first laser treatment on my tattoo, and I will show you what it looks like. So there's still some bruising. This area is still bruised. The ink has actually faded out. It has completely come out in that section there and this section up here. And this part isn't as raised as the rest of the tattoo. So over time, I guess because my body was rejecting the tattoo, it got really puffy and raised. So other than the ink kind of spilling out the sides, and you can see what a big difference there was from when I got the tattoo to when I actually did the first treatment. It was really bad. Part of it has actually sunken down a little bit, and it really only hurt for the first week or so. I was icing it on and off for about a week, and there was swelling for the first week, and it kind of just felt like recovering from a burn. Luckily, there was no blistering, and I'm gonna wait as long as possible because I heard that the treatment is more effective if you wait longer before you go back. So I'm gonna wait 7 or 8 weeks before I actually go back.
Just because everything went smooth last time, you didn't have too much swelling, doesn't mean you shouldn't be not keeping an eye on for swelling this time. I'm higher on the settings. You're coming in with different amounts of, every treatment is going to be different. You're going to come in with different amounts of ink. I'm going to be on a different setting. So whenever you leave, I want you to keep an eye on your tattoo for swelling for the first 2-3 days. Okay, and avoid anything strenuous, gym, sports, anything like that for the first 2 to 3 days. Here we go. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'm gonna get started. If you need breaks at all, just let me know. Okay. There we go.
So I'm in my car, getting ready to drive back, and I bought this ice pack. I will ice it pretty much all day today and a little bit tomorrow and a little bit the day after for when it's swollen. Nice, easy, quick. That's really all there is to it, and I'll check in tomorrow to let you know how it's going. So it's been about a week. I know I was going to show you at day 2, but it really didn't look any different than day 1. It's been a little over a week since I had my second laser treatment on my tattoo, and this actually, he told me that the laser was more powerful on this one, so I'd probably notice more bruising, more scabbing, more damage. None of that happened. I iced it for the first day, and the second day I just put the ointment they gave me on it, and it was completely fine. It itches a little bit because it's kind of like sloughing off the dead skin now, but all in all, it looks really, really good. It does feel a little bit scabby. The top is still a tiny bit raised, and from what I understand, that's because there's more ink there. And that's been raised the entire time. It used to be that the entire tattoo was raised, so that's a good sign of progress. All in all, I thought this whole transitional period was gonna be a lot worse, a lot itchier, more bruising, really uncomfortable. Not a big deal at all. I feel just fine and dandy. I'm in the bathroom getting ready for my 3rd appointment, and I'll show you what my tattoo looks like right now. There we go. Some Some of the ink is missing, and it's finally completely smooth. Whereas before it was really raised and bumpy, so I guess that's about it. So that's what it's looking like. There was quite a bit more bruising this time. The bruising has actually faded a tiny bit, and you can see it's kind of red. There was actually a tiny bit of blood on the bandage this time. I could tell in this one section right here, it actually puffed up, sort of like a burn this time around. And now is the point where it's gonna start getting itchy and a little bit flaky. So I've been putting the ointment on it, keeping a bandage over it, and now that it's starting to itch, I'm really gonna be careful to keep the bandage over, otherwise I'll be scratching at it. Not even meaning to, I mean, something itches, you just scratch. So I'm gonna keep the Band-Aid over it so I can protect it and it's not gonna be peeling off or anything.
1, 2, great. That's it. You okay?
Yep. I just spent the day filming a Japanese TV show, a travel TV show this time, really branching out. So here is what my tattoo is looking like. It actually bled this time, quite a bit, like the whole thing bled. So it's a little swollen, a little puffy. I've been icing it as much as possible. Obviously, the ice would only last so long while I was out filming, so you can see it's really raised and it's a little itchy, but it doesn't really hurt. So, one thing that happened this time that hadn't happened before is right after I did my session, I went out and I got a drink of water because I had the taste. Okay, you know the way that burning hair smells? And most of taste is pretty much just smell anyway. Well, I was tasting burnt hair and flesh. That was interesting. I hope that doesn't happen again. Yeah.
Alright, can we go ahead and ice everything down? I'm gonna go a little bit higher on the power today.
Okay.
You didn't come back with any issues. I feel comfortable going higher today.
I had my 6th session yesterday and I didn't really have time to document it after my session because I had a couple of auditions to go to, but mainly it was really bloody and gross and a little bit unnerving the first time I took the bandage off to have a peek. But here is what it looks like today. It is pretty puffy. I don't know if you can really tell, but it's sticking out quite a bit. It's pretty puffy and I can already tell there's going to be quite a bit of bruising, but it's not bleeding today. And it's just really dry and I have to make sure I put my ointment on it, but I don't know. Looks like the 6 estimated sessions are not going to be enough. I'm probably going to have to do 3 to 5 more. Honestly, like looking at the way this has gone, it was really oversaturated with ink to begin with, so that's probably part of the problem. I've had to take quite a bit longer than most people because I did have a big break in between my 5th and 6th sessions because I was having liver and kidney problems and my doctors just didn't think it was a good idea for me to introduce anything else into my system that could possibly make my system work harder. Yeah, my spleen, liver, and kidneys are all angry. So I didn't really want to introduce anything like more ink into my bloodstream until I kind of got that under control. And now that I'm feeling a bit better, we can go ahead. But I think it's been few months this time. So for most people, it doesn't take as long, but I just always have something special happen in my life. Back in my car, I am at the Sutter Stockton garage, and I am going to get my tattoo lasered again. Here we go. The ice actually hurts more than the laser.
Yeah. You want to get it nice and cold. Here we go.
Okay, so day before yesterday, I had my session, and there's quite a bit of bruising below the tattoo, which is something that hasn't really happened that extensively. It doesn't hurt. Alright, it has been 9 days since I had this lasered, and I'm not noticing a lot of difference in the tattoo, but my frostbite is now starting to peel. I just looked down, I'm lifting at my skin for you. I just looked down and I haven't been picking at it or anything, but I just noticed that the top layer of skin is starting to come off. And I've just kind of been leaving it alone, trying to keep it moisturized with vitamin E. You can see like how hard the skin is. Yeah, this is really creeping me out now. Okay, I'm in the Union Square parking garage. I'm about to go get my tattoo lasered again. I hope this is the last one, but probably not.
You have some areas that don't have any ink left whatsoever, but there's a little bit of hyperpigmentation where the skin's turned like a little tiny bit brown. And then you do have some areas that of course do have some ink left. So it looks fantastic. You're about 90-95% on your way.
Awesome.
So yeah, after, how long has it been since your last treatment?
Oh, a long time. Like
okay, good.
a year.
That's probably why it looks so good, honestly.
Yeah.
So, and they did a good job wherever you went. Yeah. Sometimes we have people that come in, they've done treatment somewhere else, and we're like, oh, this is a disaster. Maybe it's like the wrong settings, but this looks great. And then you take a really good care of your skin.
It's time to get a little cold.
And this is just vanilla cream?
Yes.
Right there. Okay, that's it.
This is it after 48 hours. A little bit of scabbing, sort of feels like a burn, but I've been keeping it covered and moisturized, and then today the bandage was just catching on my clothes too much and I had to take it off. So I'm gonna clean it and reapply some ointment and then bandage it back up.
So the spots that you treat are gonna be like really red and kind of scabby this
Are you
time.
gonna crank the laser?
Pretty much.
I'm fine with
and
that.
the reason we do that, I mean, we want to use as little energy that's needed to actually get a reaction, but when the ink is a light gray, almost pencil color, it takes a lot more energy for that to react than a dark black ink. So you have to do that.
1, 2, 3. So again, I'm just gonna hit where I see those little bits of ink left. Very good. A little bit left right here.
Beautiful. And the rest of that is just hyperpigmentation. That's where your skin has gotten darker.
Okay.
So we're going to leave that alone and just hit where the ink is.
Okay.
Very good job.
It has been a week since I had my last session, and things are healing really nicely. So that is what it looks like. It is almost completely gone. And the last bit that she lasered was right here. And really, the only thing that's left behind is a little bit of redness because the scabs just sloughed off on their own a couple of days ago. And the rest of this, she said, is hyperpigmentation. So basically, I tan super easily, and I basically have like a really severe tan from the laser. So what I'm doing now is I'm using vitamin C lotion on it. I use a vitamin C serum on it as soon as I get out of the shower, and then I put on this vitamin C lotion, and hopefully that's gonna fade that hyperpigmentation, because that is what vitamin C will do. So I just put a little dab on, and that is that. I just cover up my roll with my pajamas. So that is how the entire process worked for me. I recorded these videos over the course of 3.5 years, which is a really long time, and I promise you your treatment does not need to take that long. But part of the reason mine took so long was because I relocated, and also I'm an actor, and I just have always had a really crazy schedule, so it's difficult for me to schedule stuff in advance. And I mean, tattoo laser removal can be pretty pricey. So the first place I went, I had purchased a package of several sessions to get a discount. And when those sessions ran out, I think it took me a while to like save up the money to buy more sessions, because I did end up needing more than I initially purchased. And like, honestly, YouTubers don't make as much money as everyone thinks that we do, and actors have to be really careful about budgeting and squirreling away money for the dry seasons. So it was a little bit cost prohibitive, I'm not gonna lie. And then when I went to Laseraway, of course, they sponsored me so I could make a YouTube video for you guys, and I didn't have to pay for those sessions. However, I was shopping around for different tattoo laser clinics before I settled on Laseraway, and they were far and away the absolute best that I could find in Los Angeles, and they were the most reputable. Here's something to consider when you are thinking about having any kind of work done at a med spa or any kind of thing that requires like an esthetician or a registered nurse. You're getting what you pay for. So honestly, you might find something that seems like a great deal, and if it's a great deal, you probably want to run. Any place that's reputable is going to be a little bit expensive, and you should consider that when you're choosing a place. You want to look at reviews, you want to look at if they're a sanitary facility, you want to look at how they treat their clients. You need to be really careful about these things, because they can really screw you up if they do these things the wrong way. You want to go to a clinic that's using the right type of laser, that's using the right types of settings for your skin tone, how much ink you have, what color ink you have, and which session this is in your number of sessions. So there are a lot of things to factor in, and you really want to make sure that you're in the best hands. And both of these places that I went to, I would recommend in a heartbeat to anyone. But please, please don't go with discount skincare. It's not going to end well. So that's it. I hope this video answered any questions that you might have had about this entire process. If there's something I didn't answer, please leave it in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer all of them down there. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more videos like this one, let me know in the comments below. If you're not already subscribed, please hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell next to it so you get updates when I post new videos, because none of my subscribers are seeing my videos anymore, YouTube. Thanks for nothing. And if you enjoyed this video, please click the like button. It really helps my videos get seen.